Hey guys, what is up? I'm Kyle Cringe from the APOC Armory, and today I'm going to be doing a historical build of a weapon called a Kukri. Now, a Kukri is a type of machete, and it's something that I've been wanting to make for a really long time. I made an attempt, but that was back when my forge was kind of so I didn't get very far on it. This is actually the piece of metal that I started working on it with, and as you can see, there's basically no change on either side of it. But today, it's a great warm summer day, and I think I'm ready to take another shot at cracking this Kukri. Before I begin, I'm going to show you a couple things. For one thing, I've decided to switch to a wood-burning forge, actually. It was just when I was making the charcoal by hand, the cans that I was using were so expensive and you got so few uses out of them because of the oxidation that it wasn't really worth actually making it into charcoal. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to just take pieces of wood and burn that. And I've done this before. It turned out perfectly fine. It got plenty hot enough for me to move metal with. So just FYI, wood burning forges are perfectly applicable if you don't have access to coal or charcoal. Just in case I run out of wood though, because this is all the wood that I have to burn today. Just in case I run out of wood, I do have a bag of charcoal briquettes over there. It's definitely not my first choice. This isn't a sponsored video for Kingsford or anything. I actually, if you're forging, I advise against using Kingsford because it generates a lot of ash and not a ton of heat. It's great for low, slow barbecuing, but for stuff like making knives, it's not that great. In addition, I wanted to show you this knife that I made I think 2 weeks ago. This isn't really a knife, it's more of a froe. So for those of you who don't know what a froe is, you basically hold it over a piece of wood that you want to chop, and then you whack the spine of it with wood, and that's going to, you know, chop your wood. It's like a cutting wedge almost, only it'll cut longer pieces. I forged this out of rebar, as you can see from the handle there, which I left still pretty textured. The handle I just bent around the rebar to give it a nice grip, and this knife is all ready to go, except I still haven't heat treated it yet. So when it comes time to heat treat the Kukri, I'm going to heat treat this at the same time. One last thing before we begin is I have this steel something or other sheet, I think, and in chalk I have the Kukri's design drawn out, and so that's so that I have something to compare it to when I'm forging it. So I'm going to go back and forth between the fire, the anvil, and this to make sure that I'm getting the right shape that I'm looking for. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So my first priority is obviously to get the point at the right geometry. As you can see, the wood gets the metal plenty hot enough for me to forge these big, drastic changes very quickly. Now on this coming up little bit, you're going to see me do something bizarre. I'm going to take some water and pour it on my anvil before I hit the metal. Now I decided to do this because it's just something that I saw from a TV show, Forged in Fire, and also on another blacksmith's YouTube channel. I forget what the process is called, but basically when you place the metal down and hit it, the water instantly turns into steam and it blasts all the scale off, and it's supposedly going to give you a very clean forging surface so that you can see exactly what you're doing. Alright, now that the head is roughly where I want it, I'm going to work on that spine. And that spine, I'm hoping, if I just hit it, it'll sort of curl up the head, because Kukris are very curved. Now that didn't end up happening, so what I switched to was a very secret, ancient, and delicate technique. Very delicate. It's probably the most precise technique of creating a bend in a piece of metal that there is. You'll laugh, but it works. Now around this point I did have to switch from wood to charcoal just because I completely ran out of wood and it is really bogging down my forge. Those charcoals just take on so much ash so quickly. For me, I think wood is the way to go until I get actual coal. Alright everybody, so I'm going to treat that as done. I didn't get it quite as big as I wanted it to be, but for a first kukri, I think the forging process went really well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp it down to my anvil, bring out my angle grinder. I'm going to shape it up while it's still soft from the fire, and then after that I'm going to start up the forge again. I'm going to heat both this and the fro that I made 2 weeks ago. I'm going to heat both of those up and I'm going to quench them and heat treat them. So I'll be right back with my angle grinder. Alright, I have most of the edge work done on this. I cut it out so that it has a tang, and that's set up for a hidden tang handle, which I'm going to make out of some wood. In my wood pile I have a piece picked out that's like a really clean white color. As you can see, tang's a little bit off center. That's just because of a bad cut job. But I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference, seeing as it's a hidden blade anyway. This one was already sharpened before, but the reason I'm bringing it out now is because I'm about to revive my forge so that I can go in for a heat treat. So I'm just going to turn on the blower and see how that works. I'm fairly certain if I because I can still see some orange in there, so if I just turn on the air and stoke it a little bit, I'm pretty sure I can get it to come back. Alright, now, the Kukri didn't look as hot as the throw when I put it in. Don't worry, that wasn't, it's not going to affect the quality of the Kukri. I made sure that both of them were non-magnetic before they went in. The throw was just smaller, so it took on the heat a lot faster than the Kukri did. The Kukri was non-magnetic when I quenched, so I am still going to have to temper it. In addition, you might have noticed that the back end of it wasn't quite as hot as the front end, and that also has a good reason behind it. The reason for that is the Kukri is primarily a front-heavy weapon. You primarily slash with the head of it, not with the back. So the back doesn't have to be terribly hard. It also doesn't have to be very sharp either, because it's essentially a glorified hatchet. But I'm gonna pull the Kukri out as well, so you guys can get a look at that. Yeah. No warps. I wasn't anticipating any warps really, because it's such a thick, heavy blade, and I'm going to let these cool down before taking them inside to temper. The handle's not done yet, but I am hecka tired today, so I think I'm going to do the Kukri in 2 parts. One, this, obviously, forging, and the second part will be the handle, and I'll do that some other time this week, maybe Sunday, because tomorrow I got something else planned. But I want to upload tonight, so I'm going to throw together this video for the Kukri forging process, and I guess I'll just show you the handle on Sunday. Bye, guys.